Hello, Raúl and Melonie. How are you?
Good.
Good. How you doing, Roma?
Good, good. Congratulations on Cold Wallet arriving in theaters and VOD February 28th. I've watched this movie, very much enjoyed it. Um, let me start by asking, what's your first impression when you first read the script? Because some people called it a heist caper, some people call it techno thriller, some people call it horror comedy. How would you label it?
How would I label it? I guess a heist thriller sounds like a good, apt label. As for reading the script, it was like one of those scripts that I didn't put down, which was nice. Like it was like I started it. Sometimes with a script, if it's not up to par, you sort of get it's easy to get distracted. And I felt like with John's script, it was like I had to know what happened next, and I think that the thriller aspect of it made it a real page turner. So it was a great read, and I knew that that we had good material to work with for sure.
And Melonie?
Yeah, and just to add to that, I also thought it was really funny too, like especially in that kind of genre, in that kind of world. You're like, this is really funny. Like these characters are kind of crazy, and they're gonna do crazy shit. So that was really fun about it as well.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that, about your characters, Billy and Eva. I very much enjoyed watching them because it's sort of like an underdog story as well, right? You know, despite their unorthodox method, if you will, I found myself rooting for them as well. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, like that was something that I really like. That really drew me to the script too. Is like these people that are on the outskirts of living economically well. They're struggling, and they take matters into their own hands, despite their methods, which I personally wouldn't do. But there was something really brave about them and kind of like rock and roll and badass. And I really love that about Eva, that she was just kind of like, okay, well, there's a problem and I'm going to fix it and I'm going to find these people. Um, and take control. And I really admire that about her, how smart she was and how she was able to kind of organize. And
Mm.
that's really hard to follow through with a plan. And I thought that was really cool about that
And,
group.
and and Raul, on that point as well, do you see yourself, Billy, or your character, I mean, as badass as what you did in Army of the Dead?
I mean, I don't have an AK, so a gold-plated AK. But I mean, I definitely connected with the underdog, element of the story. I feel like I tend to gravitate towards stories about underdogs, especially where underdogs are maybe getting the upper hand in the course of the story. But Billy was, I've never played anyone like Billy. He's so, he's this sort of like lovable loser, this kind of flawed, person that is sick of, being looked over and passed up on opportunities. And he's like, when Eva presents this opportunity to for them to enact revenge, I think he's all over it. I think he gets really excited about the prospect of them getting their money back. To be quite frank.
For you as actors, both of you, was it filming in the cold winter snow that's the most challenging part about this project, or were other scenes or other aspects that you found difficult to shoot that you had to do several takes over and over again?
I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, certainly, filming in Western Massachusetts in the dead of winter was brutal. And certainly on a film of this budget, where you don't have the kind of creature comforts that you would on an Army of the Dead, for instance. But nevertheless, I think Cutter and his team really created a really collaborative environment. So I think getting the tone right, to Melanie's point about the humor in the story, but it's also a really dark story, and trying to find the right, how to temper your performance accordingly. Was I've never been sort of a part of telling this kind of story where the tone is very, very distinct. And I found that a really exciting challenge, but really fun. I mean, I felt like it was a really collaborative process, and Cutter let us do our thing, and also like, we were there supporting the story, and it was yeah, it was a really fun process.
had the opportunity to shoot in this amazing mansion,
Mm-hmm.
and just the landscape and the environment of like snow and nature and like the quiet, and then you have like elements of like Tony being really funny and just like it was kind of like this perfect storm of like what I think created the tone of the movie. And yeah, I mean it was cold at times, but I think for me personally, it really added to kind of the urgency and the darkness of like where these characters are going and what they have to get through to get what they want.
Now, my final question for both of you. Ever since the birth of Bitcoin, some people claim that they've gotten rich or wealthy off of it. Some also have lost their savings gambling on crypto because the pump and dump rug pull. So what I'm getting at is, what's your take on cryptocurrency? Is it legit or is it a scam?
You know, at the beginning of so Coinbase, no Bitcoin.
Mhm.
I bought some. I was like, hey, like whatever, I'm gonna try it. And then I still don't understand it, and I don't understand like if it's real money or not. And I don't really like I can't really break it down. So I'm not like, yay, Bitcoin. But for those who do, like, I mean, good, yeah, good for you, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny because when I first met with Cutter, I had to confess to him and be like, I know nothing about cryptocurrency. And he said, that's actually kind of perfect for Billy. And that's how I mean, I feel like I know a lot more about crypto than I did before, reading the script and signing on to the project, but it's still kind of very nebulous and mysterious to me. And I still have never bought any Bitcoin. But of course, I've had a lot more conversations about it ever since working on Cold Wallet, excuse me.
Okay, all right. For my fans at home, go check out Cold Wallet, arriving in theaters and VOD February 28th. Raul and Melonie, thank you for talking to me and congratulations.
Thank you,
Thank
Raul.
you.